Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. It's the Hood Mystic here with another video. Today we're going to be discussing the new moon in Taurus conjunct the fixed star Alcyone and all of the implications surrounding that. But before we get into the getting intos, hopefully you guys could join me on my Substack. The link is in the description where I have the new moon in Taurus article outlined in the same way that I'm doing this video. So if you want to cut to the chase and just read it in less than 90 seconds, click the link in the description. I'm not trying to overwhelm anybody with the knowledge. However, it's very deep, intricate stuff, and it requires us to kind of sit back, digest it, process it, and figure out what we're going to do with it. Included in this particular article is the new moon through the houses. So once you figure out what house Taurus is at in your chart, you can begin to journal very succinctly, very clearly on how this energy is permeating through you. Pause. But, when we get into this kind of conversations, it might not feel like it's scientifically true. It might feel like it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo going down. But if you're able to digest this article in the way it was put together, in the way that I understand it, very rational, very logical, one can come to the overall conclusion that this astrology ish is some real deal Holyfield. And a deeper level with that is that how does it apply to you, right? Am I talking to all this information, this hyperbolic, supernatural stuff, and it doesn't affect you? Or is everybody included? And the answer to that rhetorical question is the latter. Everybody is included, including you. When we talk about the world, try to break this down. So imagine being in a box, right? This is how Spirit illuminated it to me. Imagine being in a box and it's a world outside the box. And it's people inside the box that have access to the world outside the box, but they don't tell the people inside the box what's really going down. And so everybody have to make do with the box. And the box is an analogy, a metaphor for knowledge. Universal knowledge is not being taught to us. It's not being imbued. It's not being repeated. People have listened to Bobby Hemmett in 2008, haven't listened to him since, moved on away from it, moved on from the panic, moved on from the consciousness. I used to listen to your videos a lot, Hood, but I moved on from that. I don't really need astrology, things of that nature. And the reality is that we're all in the same box together. But in order to understand and understand what's truly going down, we cannot look at the box and judge on who's doing good or who's doing bad. We can't say, well, he got a nice car in the box, he got a nice house in the box, because it's still the box. And in reference to spirituality, the goal in Hindu mythology, the ultimate goal in Hindu mythology, astrology, is a concept called moksha. Moksha means liberation. It means freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from living in the illusion of not having knowledge. So when we discuss Pleiades, we are talking about the transmitter of celestial universal knowledge that transcends the earth. Now, the further we get along this timeline, the further we get away from God. Not in a philosophical sense, but in an expansive universe sense, right? There was a particular time in human history, 100,000 years ago to be exact, where Pleiades was the star on the horizon. And it was clearly seen to be 7 bright and beautiful stars that illuminated the night with no light pollution. Every night, imagine seeing something that brings tears to your eyes because you know for a fact that there is more to this universe than just, lions and tigers and bears biting at your ass every night, right? So when we talk about the evolution of culture, of technology, of all of these things that humans are capable to do, this is a transmission of light. Light has a particular gravity, meaning that it's a particular pull to light. It's a particular weight to light. Now, when we're talking about the knowledge that you can tap into, Jesus have told us for the past 2,000 years that the kingdom of heaven is within you. So the fact that the kingdom of heaven is being within you, later on in Revelation, it talks about how Jesus has the 7 stars in his right hand. These 7 stars, these 7 chakras are light receptors within the being. And the starting point for Homo sapiens, right? This breed of human beings that exist in the world, the starting point of cosmology, knowledge, magic, alchemy, it all starts with this star system, this star cluster, Pleiades. And it was such a visceral part of the human consciousness that, especially in Revelation, they dog down the number 7. Because the human needs to know that there are 7 light receptors within you. So this goes back to the question, how can you personally tap into the cosmos? You have to activate your light receptors because light has gravity. When you look to the universe and you pull on it based upon your meditation, based upon your ability to clear, the next step is illumination. The next step is moving forward in your life in a way that is not related to your personality. The personality is dealing with the persona. The persona is a Latin word for a mask, meaning in every incarnation, you are born under a certain mask or persona or personality. But the goal is to not fixate and focus on that persona, but to fixate on the actual soul that you have. We have went so far away from soul consciousness that when somebody is referencing soul consciousness, when somebody is referencing astrology, it sounds weird to the modern person, to the modern individual. So part of this video is titled Pleiades Rising. Pleiades Rising, rather. I say Pleiades, but it's Pleiades. And hoping that one of the oldest stories, not one of, the actual oldest story. Stories are very important to the human psyche, but the oldest human story You can Google it, right? It's not something that I'm making up. The oldest story is related to Pleiades, the seven sisters, and the seven stars, or what Alice Bailey would call them, the seven rays, or what Zachary Lansdowne would call the seven chakras, right? Because imagine if I have a plug. The plug is the sun transmitting ancient cosmic knowledge down to the earth. The socket is you being able to receive. That is why the meaning of Kabbalah means to receive. Receive God's light. We have come so far from that you are trying to push yourself through life. You're trying to force yourself into relationships, force yourself into jobs, force yourself into success. And all of these particular things, they have an expiration date. So what I'm trying to open you up to is the magic of you and the universe and how to work with it utilizing astrological currents. So, and I just had to preface that because this is the area for which we are having a new moon today. Okay? And the new moon is conjunct the fixed star Alcyone, or I don't know how you would pronounce it. The only way that I could pronounce it is Alcyone or Alcyone. I've heard that as well. Alcyone is the brightest star of Pleiades, but attached to Alcyone is six other stars, right? And throughout history, these seven stars were known collectively as the seven sisters. And when I say throughout history, I'm talking about, let me just read this off to you really quick, right? Tuareg, Asia, North America, Africa, the ancient Greeks, they all said that Pleiades was seven sisters, right? Now, this story is very important to the human consciousness condition, whether you know it or not. And it means a lot in the form of moving forward. So when you deal with a lot of the energy of this new moon, is very much centered off of releasing karmic bonds. Why release karmic bonds? Because the karmic bonds are what are tying you up mentally and emotionally. And the reality is that you are you on your own. Those karmic bonds, whether in any house they might exist in, if you don't have them, you will still live. You will still be who you are. Now, I'm not saying cut off bonds for no reason, but definitely the ones that pull on you negatively, negatively emotionally, physically. And it could be a person, place, or a thing. It could be a house, it could be a situation, it could be a city. And you're in this situation and it's pulling on you negatively and you're holding on to it. That's a karmic bond. Then the nakshatra, the tarot card, the fixed stars, they are specifically saying, let that shit go because you are worth much more. And the way for you to tap into the energy is to meditate on your seven chakras. Because when you meditate on your seven chakras, you become the socket for universal energy. When we are tuned in and tapped into our phones, our TVs, or our social surroundings, our job, we are in effect shutting down our chakras. Therefore, we're not receiving universal light. We are in a space where we are learning from people inside of the box. And the only thing that the people know is the box, right? I'm referencing our moms and our dads and our teachers and our reverends. They don't mean us bad, but they haven't never ventured to imagine that there is more to life than being inside this particular matrix. And there must be a reason that in thousands of Gnostic texts, in Luke 17:21, Psalms 82, verse 6, and in countless other verses in Islam, Jewish, Kabbalah, Hindu, Dhyatman, the Bodhisattva, all of these particular concepts that simply mean that God lives within you, it must be the truth. But there's also a level of never sitting with this particular reality. So when we deal with a new moon, we are setting our intentions for today and the next 28 days. And it's very important to set your intentions, meaning your intentions are not saying, this is what I want to happen, so I'm going to sit back, cross my fingers, and hope for the best. Setting an intention is saying, I am willing to extend, to live within the range of tension, live within the range of effort to make what I want to come to life, come to life. When we talk about manifestation, this is the root of manifestation. The next 28 days is the effort and energy that you work to create what you want out of your life. Now back to worry, back to woe is me type of energy. If you don't think that you can change your life, if you don't believe in miracles, if you don't believe in the energetic body, if you don't believe in the soul, that's a condition of the people who have been in a box for so long that they just trying to make the best of it. And I understand it. It's an algorithm. You may see this video, you may not ever. It's people that need this content that won't ever get it. That's why I hope that you share the video, like the video, subscribe to this channel if you have not already. But the energetic reality is for everybody. The truest thing that I've ever heard is Luke chapter 17, verses 21. When saying you can't look there, you cannot look here, you can't look nowhere. If you trying to find the kingdom of heaven, you got to look within yourself. That's the realest thing that I ever heard. Now, this just makes you an open vessel to receive God's light. This is where we institute the paradigm of hope and faith. If you have karmic bonds, then you don't even have the capacity to be hopeful and faithful because you in the mix with what they got going on. Lord forbid you got a kid that's on demon time. Your baby mama cheating on you, or not even cheating on you. She done found her a new nigga. You know what I'm saying? What the hell you gonna do? That's a karmic bond. And if I allow that to shut me down, if you allow that to shut you down, then you would not even, this particular energy that we're talking about is not correlated to what happened in your life. This particular energy is correlated to who you are as a soul, which the average person knew this 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 years ago. But as time moves on, the average person has no idea. The average person is relating their overall success and happiness and joy to how much money they got and to what they can actually do in life. This is why, if you are a spiritual being, in this particular time, you could still be working, you could still be having a business. You know your shit ain't over, but your money is funny and your change is strange, right? Because you focus too much on it. You care too much about it. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Not the kingdom of heaven is in reference to how much money you got, how many girls you got, how many millions you got, how many nice cars you got, how many fancy trips and vacations you take that you can show off on the gram, how sexy your partner is. The kingdom of heaven is not in any of those particular things. So, of course, if you find value in those particular paradigms, that's the shit that's rocking you to sleep right now. That shit putting you in a chokehold that you wouldn't believe, right? And the thing is, Black people have become ridiculously secular, even in the church. Everything has become a commodity. Everything has become a vehicle for you to become successful so you can look the part, act the part. But in all of this external shit, we have completely lost the plot of the information and utilizing the knowledge that helps us grow and be magnetic. The best thing that you could particularly do with this energy is magnetize what you want. And this is what we're talking about, utilizing this new moon as a form of high level manifestation. So the reason why this energy becomes so very powerful, so very much in a space where at one level you think that the world is over, but then on the second level, next week, you'll be reflecting on this particular time leading up to the new moon like, damn, I thought this shit was over, man. I thought I wasn't going to make another sale. I thought, I wasn't going to never find a job. I thought I wasn't going to never get out that homeless shelter. I thought I wasn't going to never have no car. I've been praying for this shit and hoping, and then it just now happened. Wow, this is amazing. You got to understand the human condition of wanting things for hundreds of thousands of years and not knowing how to get it. And then somebody put them on to the seven rays or the seven sisters, tapping into your electromagnetic body, your psychic body. And then when you sleep, your psychic body is telling you, oh, the livestock is down the river to the left. You wake up and you tell the tribe, hey, we going down camp and we breaking to the left. But we've been going down camp and breaking to the right for the last 20 years, Hector. Nigga, we've been starving for the last 5. We needed the herd have relocated. They migrated to another spot. Hector, how you know? Well, remember that shaman? He gave me them herbs. These 7 sisters came to me and they showed me that they was from the Great Light of Sirius. And one of their train stops is this goddamn, you see these 7 stars in the sky? That's one of their stops. And then their destination was me. You saying that a star from Sirius is talking to you right now? Yes. What make you so special? I was just receptive to what the shaman said. I was just under the influence of that little herb that he gave me, that tincture that he gave me, and they started talking to me. But anyways, they could get your bow and arrow. We got some damn livestock to catch. We about to eat good tonight. Lo and behold, they break down river, break to the left. It's a whole herd. Okay? Guess what happens to the person that knows where the food is at? He gets crowned as the leader, the king, whatever you want to call it. And they feel like he is basically a god. But at the beginning, he's telling everybody about it. But then at a certain point in time, around 2,000 years ago with Jesus, he was telling people, all right, this is what it is. This is the last time anybody ever going to tell you this shit too. So make sure you write this shit down, because I'm telling you, they gonna take this knowledge and they're gonna keep it to themselves. They're gonna keep you all in a box. They're gonna give you this shit called money. And once they give you niggas money, y'all ain't gonna care nothing about the seven sisters. And the ancient people was listening to Jesus like, man, ain't no way. We gonna always care about the seven sisters. It's one of the oldest stories told to us. It's how I manifested this goddamn loincloth. It showed me where to get this bear skin from. Jesus like, you wait. Your descendants, they gonna care more about a damn phone than the seven sisters. And the niggas gonna look at him like, what's a phone? But the seven sisters, they carry the electromagnetic energy from phone to phone anyways. There's nowhere you getting around electromagnetic energy. We having this whole conversation based upon it, right? So at a certain level, we need it. But on a whole nother level, we don't give a fuck about it. We feel that we're sustained by our desires, and the reality is that we are sustained by light. I'm outside. Well, I'm looking outside right now. It's a beautiful day. Everybody outside in their cars having fun, having barbecues, things of that nature. Imagine if the sun didn't rise today, right? It's a good idea to throw on some nice clothes and you might meet your wife today. That's why in a Jewish wedding, at the end of a Jewish wedding, what do they say? They say 7 blessings. Okay? You're not going to get around this number 7 and the power of it, because it's electromagnetic energy as to why you got a man or got a woman or you don't. Because I know some ugly ass motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, happily married. I know some beautiful motherfuckers that can't figure it out. You know, money out the ass. They come into the events solo dolo. They can't figure that part out to save their life. They get to a point they afraid they can't even date no more because they think that a girl gonna take them for their money. And it's like, well, did you meditate? Did you become a receptive to electromagnetic energy to where you could be aligned to know exactly where and how and what you should be doing and what you need to be moving, because you already got resources. Now all you need is intuition. What do niggas do? They just fixate and focus on more and more resources. As if, how is this the key to your salvation? Resources. When you get resources, and the only thing a nigga can think about when they reach the top of the mountaintop is to get to another mountaintop. I mean, it gets to a point. And then you got the feminist movement that will then say the best thing for us to do as women is to get a good job and make money just like the men. And then at a certain point, we just sit back confused as to why shit ain't working out for us. I got a job, I got money, I got a nice house. Did you meditate? You already got resources. It's beautiful to have resources. That's a good thing that you've done. Now, the key is utilizing them in a way to get the things that you want out of life. It is not a what is the word that I'm looking for? A means to an end. It is something that you are going to utilize to live the best version of your life. And for those of us who are on the outside looking in, don't got any resources, don't got any love, don't got nowhere to stay, don't know left from right. If you are alive, that means you're listening to this, then that means that you have 7 chakras, my nigga. I mean that. This could be, and the best thing to do when you have nothing is to implement systems. Because when you implement systems, whether it's saving 10% of every dollar that you make, or, you know, you can start monitoring it. It's hard to have shit and implement systems because you got it. But it's like the analogy that Spirit showed me. If I had a leak in my boat, and I had a lot of water in my boat, I wouldn't have no real clue as to where the leak is coming from. But if I ain't got no water or a very little amount of water in my boat, and I got a leak, I can just see where all the water is leaking out at from, and I could easily get to that leak quicker. So wherever situation you find yourself in, do not get frustrated. Kyrie have not created the concept of meditation. And if I didn't create the concept of meditation, and there's a concept of meditation that exists in the world, why are they doing it in the first place? And if you can correlate meditation to your seven chakras, why is that correlation there? And if you can also correlate the seven chakras to electromagnetic spectrum, the waves for which light and information travel all over the universe, it travels not in one thought or one stream. It travels in seven different streams that converge into different colors and different variations. But those seven different streams are seven different intelligences. And when we talk about intelligences, they know how to communicate individually and they know how to communicate in union. The most important thing for an individual to do is to figure out what their soul is here to do. If you haven't came to that conclusion, at the end of the day, you're just winging it. So, and when I hope y'all look this stuff up, I hope y'all do your own research when you begin to look up the mythology of the seven sisters. I want you to understand and overstand that this is what it is talking about. And part of the mythology is Orion chasing the seven sisters, to whereas they had to be relocated in the cosmos. And the interesting thing about this particular story is Zeus, especially in the Greek mythology. Zeus was such Zeus was just like the worst type of motherfucker in the history of life. But when it came to the seven sisters, even he became an ultimate gentleman. You know what I mean? Even he became an ultimate gentleman and didn't do his normal 1-2 of, doing some old crazy shit with a woman. I'm not about to say it, but you can use your imagination. He actively turned them into doves and showed them the utmost respect. The seven sisters are the seven rays of light that enter into this planet. If you look at if I'm looking at a sunbeam right now off like the roof of a truck, if you look at a sunbeam long enough, you can see the separations in the colors. And as human beings, we are completely don't give a shit about that. We don't care about the fucking sun shining down on the earth, right? But let me tell you, it's important to everybody, and it's also important to you because the way that the sun shines down to the earth, it shines down to the earth because we pull the sun down with our particular chakras. And a deeper study to get into, if this is like interesting to you and you want to understand and overstand it in a way where, okay, it might not make sense reading this particular knowledge without relating it to your chakras, without relating it to Pleiades, and nobody is going to do that. So you got to begin to use your own common sense, right, and understand and overstand what's being put down. So, and ultimately, what this teaches human beings is the energy of harmony. because the fourth ray is harmony, but this harmony is something that you must do in your relationships, in your spirit, in your work, in your parenthood, in your social life. All of these things have to be harmonized. What do I mean? What I mean is that it could be some shit that's happening in your life that's taking full control over your mental and emotional. And so you probably can't do something like you can't, if it's something happening in your job and it's taking over and you ain't showing up in your relationship and you ain't showing up with your kids, that's a lack of harmony, right? If you don't know what your soul has for you or what you supposed to actually be doing in life, but you doing shit anyways, that's a lack of harmony. And even in the actual rays, the first and the seventh ray need to be harmonized, right? Because you see it with the ditties and you see it all of the time. If you feel like you got that first ray of will and power, like I was bugging out researching this because I went down like this mental rabbit hole of like Diddy, like he just imagining he just so powerful, and he just having all of these weird orgies and having people do all this weird shit. We seen some of that shit on camera. Walk to the goddamn cheesecake factory and walk back, and they like, what I'm saying, that's a hell of a walk. He actually, that's will, that's power, but right. That nigga's in jail right now. You feel me? He is in jail right now. So what does that tell you? Will and power is not the end all be all. But when I tell you that 99% of human beings are locked in the first ray, right? Because let's keep it real. When was the last time you actively did a ritual and harmonized it with your will and your power? Because imagine that shit, right? It's not that I'm doing, because a nigga could be all into the seventh ray. You do rituals every fucking week, right? But ain't no power behind that shit. Ain't no changes happening behind that shit. It's crazy how a nigga feel like he had to have an orgy when he could have been in the fucking forest with some goddamn high-tech ritual type shit, by himself with himself, because the power is within. You got to start there. The power ain't in people saying, Diddy, we love you. Diddy, you're the greatest. Because at the end of the day, all the motherfuckers had jokes. I never heard a nigga get clowned in my life worse than Diddy. My kids, if Diddy is a joke to them. I turned on Can't Hold Me Down the other day. I'm like, damn, this nigga fall from grace, need to be studied. But once again, I know for a fact he's not harmonizing the will and power with the ritualism, right? The second ray, love and wisdom. The sixth ray, idealism. Those have to be harmonized. What does it look like when you just love? We all come out the gate, love, 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 sex, sex, sex. It's motherfuckers right now feeling like if the sex ain't what it's supposed to be, then we can't go further. It's people that feel that. They're not even going to budge off of that. But once again, your sixth ray of idealism, what's the ideal? This is what you see for yourself. Now, if I have an ideal, the thing that's not a part of my ideal, I don't even see it. I can't even attract the motherfucker that don't got good sex. Like I can't even attract the motherfucker with no whack pussy. Cause I've already set it up within my ideal. And these are like mental exercises that an individual must do. When we talk about the seven rays, we are talking about magic. When we talk about cosmology and astrology, we are talking about magic because it is changing the external world because you know something. And that if you look at the tarot, the Rider Waite to be exact, you're going to see rainbows. You're going to see stars. Why? Why? What's the correlation between the stars and the rainbows? Why can't we just have, a bunch of different animals or some shit like that to represent the tarot? Well, the mystery is in the particular rays of knowledge and tapping into them because that's going to be the most profound celestial shit. And why any individual does not access their soul is because one, they don't turn on their chakra system, and two, they don't harmonize the energies. They go knee deep in power, they go knee deep in love, they go knee deep in intelligence. But intelligence has to be balanced with science, and it all has to be balanced with the heart. Meaning that if you have will and power that's harmonized through ritualism, but you still operating in your ego, you doing the rituals and you understand the power of it, but you doing shit to have people go against their will. You doing shit to get people off the earth. Right? It's some fucking serial killers out here that they'll never go to jail because they know the ritual to kill motherfuckers. They know how to kill people without they be in their fucking room sleeping. You would have no idea. They could possess other people. It's crazy. It's people in jail. Wake up. I don't even know how the fuck I got here. I was drinking. I was drunk, and I woke up in jail. Well, you went here for murder. Murder. The whole time, it's a witch in the fucking suburbs doing conjurings in her backyard. What I'm saying is, you can take will and power, you can take ritualism and utilize it to do some fucked up shit. You can take love, you can take idealism and have a nigga that don't even like you, but he under a fucking love spell right now. He under a deep love spell. He don't like you, you don't like him, but the energy is not in harmony within itself. It's smart spiritual niggas right now that got a following. They know all of the intricacies of spiritualism and all of this, but they is ain't shit niggas at the end of the day. Beat on women, abandon their kids, womanizer, but they know all of the ancient philosophies. And you wouldn't know the difference until you get close to them and realize, like, oh shit, this nigga's a monster. Why? Because his heart is not harmonizing all of the energies. And the last point about the rays, it could be one, two, or more rays within an individual's makeup that allows them to be as powerful or live a life that's at the level of the life that they want to live. But if you harmonize all of these rays and work through all of these rays, your life can't help but to magnetize the universal light. It's like being a solar panel. The solar panel, all it has to do is work, and then it's going to metabolize the sun's energy into useful things, whatever that may be. So trouble in your life is not based upon the actual thing. You need to free up knowledge within yourself. It can come from somewhere else, but it's you that decide, all right, let me look up this. Let me do this. Let me go here. I remember one time, well, I do this all the time. I'll be in the sauna and I'll just listen to what people saying. I'm too advanced at this shit to even think that a person's individual conversation is just their individual conversation. I would understand and overstand that that's probably something that I need to hear. So I'm saying all of this to say, you can absolutely magnetize everything that you desire, but don't go about this shit randomly. These rays of energy are all around us. You have to ask yourself, am I closed off to the universal rays of knowledge and light, or am I open to them? Is the person who invented the word Kabbalah to mean receive, was he full of shit? Or is that a concept that I individually need to tap into? To whereas the levels of intelligence, the levels of science are only doors that need to be unlocked within you. But the key to this thing is harmony. So a easier way to understand it or understand is that you don't take this knowledge and this the things that's taking place within you and outside of you and grow a big head. Because it is the light that is shining down that is expanding you, that's telling you all of this stuff. But back to being in that box, that analogy of being in a box, I can receive all of this knowledge and present it a whole different type of way. I can present it to a way to make niggas think that I've invented it. But what I'm actually doing is say this shit was already invented, but we're not actively having a conversation. We'd rather talk about Megan Thee Stallion and the new Drake album than the rays for which are entering the planet. So in Luke chapter 8, verses 2, when we talk about Mary Magdalene, she represents Alcyone. When we talk about Pambagera, she represents Alcyone. And the thing about Mary Magdalene and mainly Pambagera is that she had Pambageras with an S, plural, many different variations. Because when we talk about Pleiades, although there are 7 stars that we see physically, there are at least 1,000 stars within the cluster. So, what is this particularly saying? This divine feminine energy. Now, Mary Magdalene bankrolled Jesus. So, what does that make Jesus, y'all? That makes Jesus the first and ever pimp. Okay, right? And this is not something that I'm making up. You can Google Mary Magdalene bankrolled Jesus, and Mary Magdalene sold that thing, sold that thing for a piece of change. Okay, that's just what happened. And Luke, and this is the thing that really like just struck a chord about me about it is when in chapter two of chapter 8, verse 2, also some women who have been cured of evil spirits and diseases. Mary, called Magdalene, from whom 7 demons had come out. And a very short story about this particular Bible verse that made me understand what the whole church and religion thing was about. The whole church and religion thing was to shut down the 7 sisters, right? To shut down that divine feminine energy and make it predominantly masculine and exclusively something that is not connected to the divine feminine energy. So we are not connected to it because the goal, right, of Christians, especially Roman Catholics, is to exorcise the demons. But if we study the Latin, okay, the Latin for the word demon is genius. So if I took the genius, if I took the 7 geniuses out of a person, if I took the 7 rays out of a person, what is that person left with? Okay. And this is the modern person right now. They are free of the genius. They are free of the rays. So I'm talking about the rays. I'm talking about Pleiades. And I know niggas ain't getting it because when I heard this shit at first, I didn't get it either. I've been studying Alice Bailey for years. And I really was like, when I do these videos, I'm really trying to understand what every time I do a video, every time I'm studying these astrologies, I've studied them so much that now I want to know what the fuck are y'all really talking about? Okay? And this is what I feel, right? This is what I feel that I know based upon studying this shit over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. hours and hours of studying this shit. It's not the first time I studied Pleiades, but this is the first time that I got clear on what the fuck it actually means. And I'm like, damn, this shit is very powerful. And y'all could get into these videos and study them that I was watching and be like, damn, they've been talking about this shit for years, but it don't really ever click. And I say all that to say, I don't expect y'all to watch this video and be like, aha, I got it. But eventually, I hope that this video sows that seed that you can come to this particular understanding about electromagnetic energy, how it is non-physical, and we also have physical bodies, but instead of dealing with the non-physical, we just fixate and focus on the physical. That means that the non-physical is out of harmony. Therefore, it shows up as what? As a demon, as an evil spirit. That's like if I had a dog and I just kick that dog, I ain't feed that dog. If the dog just had to figure it out on his fucking own, he had to fucking eat rats and ants and all types of shit just so it could be hungry. That dog is going to look fucked up, it's going to act fucked up, it's going to be mangy, it's going to be ornery, it's going to be violent, and we're going to be like, man, that dog is fucked up. But if I fed that dog raw steak every goddamn day, gave it a bath, y'all know that lady on goddamn Instagram be pampering that goddamn pit bull. That motherfucker dog, he look healthy, he look happy. Now, in reference to the 7 demons, life is what you make it. Your energy is what if you are out of harmony with your 7 with the 7 rays. If you are out of harmony with Pleiades, that's fine. You can get shit back in order by understanding and overstanding your own nature. But before we go any further, I'm gonna get into my little infomercial, and I'm gonna have Bobby Hemmett explain exactly why I do that.
I'm getting ready to get my infomercial in, and then we're gonna go into the libation. The information, everybody gotta have an infomercial or end up in the poorhouse. You see?
So first things first, I just want to say thank you for all of the support throughout all of the years. For anybody looking for spiritual books, spiritual literature that's easy to read, but also applicable in your spiritual life, go ahead and check me out on Amazon.com. Search for Kyrie Anthony, K-Y-R-E-E, last name Anthony, and you will find all my work there. Whether we're talking about astrology explained, a spiritual being having a human experience. We've been talking a lot about chakras. You might be interested in your chakras, want to get a good grip on what's going down. Go ahead and get Chakra Nova, the book and the journal, to begin to start doing the work. Speaking of doing the work, go ahead and get your shadow work journal and handbook, because a lot of the things that we have been discussing are along the lines of shadow work. And for those of y'all trying to get your money right, tap into Blue Magic, which is actually my latest book. But the book that I'm working on, Understanding Astrology, you can get your sneak peek on that. This is where we're going through all of the transits, everything about astrology. We're going to get down and dirty. Is going to be a reference library for those who want to know real quick, what do Sun conjunct Venus mean? You will have that for you in a nice, concise book. But if you don't want the book, you can come on over to the Substack. Link is in the description. The article for this new moon is in the description. And if you just want to be updated and alerted when I go live via email, Substack is the place to do it. All I need is your email. All I need is one mic, and we can get this shit going down. Speaking of White Rabbit Psychedelics, I started a new newsletter. This new newsletter on White Rabbit Psychedelics is going to be via Substack, not to be confused with my astrology Substack. but this is going to be a specific newsletter that comes out every week. Every week, we're giving out 30% off, exclusive email only promo code. So for those who want to save for the entire month of May, because May is Customer Appreciation Month at White Rabbit Psychedelics, where we're having $40 off. Not $40 off. The capsules, a 30-day supply, is only going to be $40. Not $40 off. Let's be clear. And also 30% off the entire month of May. May is going to be over quicker, sooner than later. So if you've been waiting, it's time to jump on that before the month is over. And tap into Health is Wealth Botanicals. Got some new cash shirts coming. And I'm trying to get this new product, man. I'm working with this guy. His product is called Confidence. And all I'm going to say is that it is a healthy version of Viagra where that thing, it just will not go down no matter what you do. That's going to be coming soon to Health as Wealth Botanicals, but I'll let y'all know exactly when. For a tax-free donation, please go to the Cash App $Hood Mystic 38. If it's a couple of dollars, $200. I mean, I know y'all balling, right? So it ain't nothing to y'all. But if you support this content, if you like spiritual content, if you support independent creators that's just surviving off the muscle, and go ahead and vote up that Cash App. It'd be much greatly appreciated on this side. But that was the little quick infomercial. But back to the new moon chart. This new moon has a conjunction with Mercury and, more importantly, Uranus. And the interesting thing about Mercury and Uranus, they are the same note but different octaves, right? Uranus being a more deeper, more boisterous form of Mercury, which is a much more subtle, much more personal form of communication. And so, what this shows me is that the mode for the word I'm looking for is telecommunications, right? The mode for intuition and signaling certain high celestial information is taking place right now. And the ways for which the information is being sent through is through the mind. And through the mind is a very interesting place because in order to receive information through the mind, you have to create this sacred space externally and internally. Okay. Another interesting aspect that is related to this new moon is Chiron conjunct Mars, where an individual's ability to, for a lack of better words, right their wrongs. For one, it starts with your mindset to know that you can right your wrongs, and two, put yourself in that space. Mars conjunct Chiron isn't something that's going to happen fast, but it's something that is going to happen surely. It's like building a house, and the commitment to heal, the commitment to rebuild is something that starts now. Over time, you'll get the contractors, you'll get the cement, you'll get the siding, the windows, etc., etc. And the next year or so, you will have a finished building. And I'm using this as an analogy or a metaphor for the areas in the wounds that you need to heal. And when we talking about Aries energy in the Aries house, this really marks your first wound, that wound that you didn't get over, that wound that you bring into every relationship, every job opportunity, right? Every friendship. It is that thing that you haven't fully healed and you're like protecting it. But if you're able to have a certain level of awareness you could begin to say, man, I need to do something about this. And what I would say, just putting a thought to that particular thing, right? Just saying, all right, this is something that I need to work on is good enough, because once again, this is not something that's going to happen instantaneous, but it's something that is going to be something that, if you had a hole or a wound a year from now, that wound would be completely healed and you would be, fresh as new. All right, especially energetically and mentally and moving forward. Another thing about this particular energy is that this new moon is sextile Jupiter. And Jupiter more or less is the planet of the planet of expansion, but that expansion, if it is to truly be expansive, has to be somewhat destructive. Meaning that, I guess it ties when we talk about the nakshatra, which is going to be the next slide. It is an energy of cutting away karmic bonds, right? Cutting away energies that no longer serve you, not in a nice way, but in a destructive way, in a way that is like, this no longer exists because I no longer need it, right? And this is a magical paradigm. And the reason why we utilize the concept of magical is because it's the opposite of mundane. You're doing all of this psychic maintenance so that things can happen easier for you, so that you can get into places and you can begin to do things that you want to do. Think about the first time you got out in them streets, right? You got out of them streets and you was meeting people and you was greeting people and things was happening to you so fast you didn't even know things could happen to you that fast. And then the more you try to do it, the less and less the power became as powerful as it used to be, because those knots have gotten so strong. Well, the Kritaka Nakshatra, the Sanskrit translation for Kritaka is scissors. So this is literally the scissors Nakshatra. This is literally the cutting off Nakshatra, cutting off of any karmic bonds, karmic ties that no longer serve you. The element of this particular nakshatra is fire or Agni. And fire would be another destructive force that is not going to nicely say, hey, could you get out the way? I'm fire. I'm about to burn through here. So could you please like scooch over a little bit? It's just going to come through full force, which is another energy. Another symbol of this particular nakshatra is that of the pentagram, or that of the six-sided, the Star of David, rather. And so, working with these particular symbols and energies are active magical paradigms. Another way of looking at this is as above, so below, which would be a phrase or totem of Taurus, Taurus being a physical sign, an earth sign. Well, the earth is not created within itself. The earth is actively molded and created and cultivated through the capacity of a human's mind. So a lump of dirt is a lump of dirt. But if in my mind I can conceive of a beautiful palace, and my mind conceived that, that's as above, so below. But as above, so below isn't that lump of dirt per se. Meaning, this new moon is a time of putting forth a level of sublime effort, but it's very clear on holding on to old shit is not going to help you get to where you're trying to get to. The Sabian symbol for the new moon, this is in the sidereal chart, This is on the cusp of Taurus and Aries at the number one Sabian symbol. And the symbol is a clear mountain stream. The mountain has been here for millions of years, but the clear mountain stream of water is a new iteration of something that has been here for millions of years. You in this moment have been here since the creation of all things. You at an energetic soul level have been here since the beginning. How you move forward is just a new iteration. So a clear mountain stream is an individual's ability to connect to that which who you are as an infinite being. This is something that you need to grasp. The result of completely grasping who you are as a soul, as a seven-rayed solar being, is going to lead to a positive manifestation. The pure, uncontaminated, and spontaneous manifestation of one's own nature. And when you get into the nitty-gritty of I'm having a problem, I'm having an issue, 10 times out of 10, you need to get out of your own way vicariously through your karmic bonds. Here we see life's substance in its original dynamic form as it emerged from its spiritual source. Your mother and your father is not a spiritual source, that is a physical source. The spiritual source is the soul, and the soul consciousness doesn't get activated till you're 35. But when you activate your soul consciousness post 35, that is something that has existed, not when you were born, it has existed with you in every single lifetime. This is true, whatever the nature of the source may be. In a sense, the mountain stream is conditioned by the nature of the soil and by all the forces which in the past have formed the mountain's rock strata. That is to say, by past history. Yet, out of this past, a new, pure, unadulterated release of potentiality has emerged. And that's what this new moon is about when setting your intentions. So it's going to be hard to access the sublime without meditation because you're going to be utilizing your past as a way to set an intention, meaning that I don't have money, so let me set an intention for money. Because in your mind, you would imagine that when you have money, all of your problems are solved. Only your money problem is going to be solved, but you probably got other problems that need to be solved. It is not about what you want, more about who you are. This is the second house. This is Taurus. The Taurus is usually confused with the first sign because 100,000 years ago, Taurus was the rising star. It was the rising constellation. So when we talk about Taurus, we're talking about something that represents the first in the conscious. This represents the start of something new within your conscious. And when we talk about your soul, attached to your soul is a dharma, is a duty, is a path. This new, pure, and unadulterated release of potentiality has emerged, and it is ready to perform whatever work its dharma is to accomplish. This is what we must figure out down here on this earth. This is the first stage of a seventh fivefold sequence of phases. Matter is still imbued with great potential energy, energy being matter at its source. It is flowing irresistibly towards its own destiny. It is simply its own nature. So, to just know that you have a path is, in religious terms, what a person would call faith, what a person would call hope. Eventually, you will get there. Eventually, you will reach your destination. But you, as the individual, have to know that everything's going to be all right. You, as an individual, need to know that everything is going to be good. Because the tarot card of this particular deacon is the deacon of worry. And that's the opposite of faith. That's the opposite of hope. In my Sabian Symbols and Astrology book by Dr. Edmund Jones, he says Taurus 1 represents a clear mountain stream. This is a symbol of the individual spirit in its irrepressibility. So if you lived a life, you've been to prison, you got evicted, your mama don't love you like that, your girl cheated on you, your kids, they treat you like you ain't shit, right? Your job treats you like you ain't shit. Child support taxing you. The niggas ain't checking for you. The girls ain't checking for you. Whatever the case may be, your money is funny. You know what I'm saying? You don't got enough money to catch the bus, right? Whatever you're going through right now, this particular energy is the symbol of the individual spirit in its irrepressibility. Your soul cannot be repressed, oppressed, or oppressed at all. The only thing that's happening right now, if you're struggling, is that you have not tapped into who you truly are. You have not tapped into your power. Your power has to be in harmony with your ritual. Your crown chakra has to be in harmony with your root chakra. You got to know who you are when you're doing this work. You got to know that you can manifest some shit, right? Because if you don't know you can manifest some shit, you say it's all mumbo jumbo. I can't manifest shit. The only way I can get money is this nine to five. Then that's going to be the reality that you create. You have to have some level of hope and faith. And trust me, if you're in a negative spot right now, you must know that you are in the right spot to begin to institute faith, to institute hope. Okay? Your spirit, your magnetism, your soul, it cannot be repressed. It can only be shut off. The individual spirit in its irrepressibility and the purity and excellence of its real sources of strength. We're talking about energetic realities that niggas, we just don't want to talk about who we are at a spiritual level no more. Every spiritualist that I see, they're trying to make it. They trying to correlate. They trying to do a video. They trying to make some money. I'm trying to have a conversation on the irrepressibility, purity, and excellence of your soul. Because here, man is freed from any necessity to meet the superficial limitations of life in any particular way or to conform to any pattern of events except as there is genuine contribution to an ultimate goal. So this goes back to being in a box. And everybody in the world is in the same box. So we are led to believe that everything in this everything that we see is all we can achieve. Why don't they tell us about the universal current? Because if you personally tapped into the universal current, You wouldn't need their systems. You wouldn't need their guidance. You wouldn't need their paychecks. You wouldn't need their handouts. You would be taken care of within the box. You don't got to leave the box. You just have to know that the energy exists outside of the box, and the energy outside of the box cannot be stopped. So if I'm inside the house right now, I'm literally in the house, the rays can still get to the house. I can't see them, I can't understand or overstand it, but it can still happen. You can still meditate in your house and tap into something. You can still sleep on your bed and have a lucid dream. Because I'm in the house and it's shit going on outside of the house, I will only be ignorant to think that everything that I need in my life I can find within this house. And that's the everyday modern human being that thinks everything that constitutes as knowledge can be found on earth. Well, there are celestial and cosmic knowledge that can be transmitted to and through your chakras. But I could be full of shit. I made up the concept of chakras. Chakras ain't real, and you don't need to meditate. End of fucking story, right? But I'm talking about for those who want to live outside of the limitations of what you can or what you can't have, and you want to master manifestation, but you want to do it without meditation, it's not going to work. You want to do it without harmonizing your chakras, you're going to do it without activating your chakras, it's not going to work. Because it's a state of relaxation, it's a state of meditation where you can feel your root chakra rotating. You can feel your kundalini rising. And what does this all mean? This means that you are a receptor to the seven sisters. The self or the soul possesses unlimitable depths on which to draw in any special significance, and holds to an overall consistency in its self-expression. The key word to this Sabian symbol is resourcefulness. When you are in a positive energy, this means that you will achieve high achievement through an unswerving fidelity or unswerving faith to some definite course of action. When you tap into yourself, you will receive a positive, high achievement through an unswerving faith to some definite course of action. Meaning, no mumbo jumbo, humbo jumbo. I hope it works out in the future. Fingers crossed. No, you can know everything that you need to know when you rely upon self. We've all figured that the Drake album is going to be our salvation anyway, so we don't even need to worry about our fucking chakras. Yeah, I heard about the chakras last year, Hood. I don't need to deal with that. And when negative, a tendency to waste the potentialities of being by aimless self-ramifications. Just doing shit. What are you here for? What is your purpose on earth? What is your dharma? What is fueling you? You may not know, but your soul knows. When we talk about our chakras and we talk about our rays and things of that nature, what I've come to realize is not complicated. When I first was getting to it, I felt like it was complicated, but that was because I didn't know enough, okay? And that's what spirituality is like. If I go into the gym, I've never been into the gym before, and I start my first workout, I'm gonna go through hell. It's gonna feel like shit. 2 years from now, 3 years from now, it's not gonna hurt as bad, and I'm gonna have a stronger physique. So what I'm saying is, you will grasp it. It will make sense to you, but you gotta give it some time, okay? And when we talk about meditation, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Who you are You might not have a clear view of that shit right now. You might not really fully grasp how powerful you are right now. You might not fully grasp that shit. You might not fully see it. And setting a new intention, new moon intention, I don't know, man. I don't know all the way who I could fully be. But your own nature, minus how you grew up, minus what you think, you could be devious, you could be rotten to the core, but your own nature at a soul level is perfect, pure, and unadulterated. This is why when you're able to clear and release all karmic bonds, you are able to see something that is going to bring a tear to your eye, and what you are going to be able to see is yourself. When you get into the spiritual side of things, you're going to see something that exists as like a rainbow, a bubble, a rainbow. It's just, that's the only way I can describe it. This is the seven sisters. The seven sisters exist in all of us vicariously through the seven chakras. That's why this new moon is so fucking powerful, because you may have given up on yourself with the news, the economy. It's fucked up out here. But we are not condemned. We are not in a box. We are in a celestial reality. We are in a universe. That means there's one song, but we get so far away from it. This video is for those who are struggling and looking for some type of solution, and what you need to start to get closer to. You need to get closer to yourself. You need to get closer to your own nature. So the tarot card of the new moon is the Five of Discs. And the title of the Five of Discs is worry. And worry is specifically taken from a word in reference to a wolf and strangling sheep. And the story goes that the wolf very rarely had to strangle the sheep. It might have had to strangle a sheep once or twice, but for the most part, they just keep the wolf around. And the wolf being around, it allows the sheep to do everything that the herder wants them to do. So basically, it's not that the wolf is going around actively strangling the sheep. It's the thought of being strangled, because the sheep have saw in the past. So this mere thought is what keeps them under control their entire lives. And this, of course, is an analogy to humanity. And it ain't about being strangled by the man. For a lot of people, worry is surrounded on being poor. It ain't the fact of them being poor. They done seen other people being poor, and guess what everybody have said? One in the chat, if you seen somebody being poor, and said, man, I don't want to go through that shit. I'm about to go to work right now. Jim, you just left work, nigga. I want to work a double. Can I come back? I seen a nigga balling last week. This nigga on the home in the fucking soup kitchen line. You sure you don't need no overtime? I'm just saying. I'll come back. You know, I'm afraid. I'm worried about that shit. I do not want to be poor. Nobody said you ever was going to be poor, but it's a reason why you're going to tell your kids to go to college. It's a reason why they probably will say, well, I want to do this. And you say, nah, get that financial accounting job, girl. You don't need to get no damn ballet degree. That don't even make sense. How much money you going to make doing that? You ain't going to make no money trying to do half crump and half ballet, girl. That's not even a real thing. You think you're going to do spirit dancing times crunk dancing times ballet? Girl, if you don't get a fucking accounting degree, Why? Why you don't want your daughter to be the first ballet crumper? Because you don't want to see your daughter poor. Why? You just want her to have money. But if we don't examine that little piece of worry, we're not intentional. We're being preventative. We're like doing the little Kim dance when it comes to like adversity. And as I said, it's very easy to shut your own self down, right? When you're in the paradigm of worry, it's not like you doing something bad or depressed. You might be doing good. You might be doing great at work. You might be working hard, but you're trying to save yourself from something. But your dharma and your own nature is that of soul magnificence that you've been down here playing defense, right? Imagine playing basketball and you's like, all right, if I can play defense and I can stop motherfuckers from scoring, motherfuckers can't fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? But then, like, people do score on you sometimes, you know, because you can't stop every bucket, but you ain't work on no offense. You know what I'm saying? You ain't a good basketball player because you play good defense, but you're not stopping all the buckets. So what this mean? You could have been intentional and said, I'm going to start my business or I'm going to perfect my craft. And that craft would have led you to thousands, if not millions of dollars. But you was worried about being poor, so you did the safe thing. You say, I'm against a medical. You don't even like blood. You don't even like people. You don't even care about helping people that much. You like cooking food. But you don't make no money cooking food. You make money being a nurse. And your chakras is shut down. Clocking in every single day. Because you worried about failing. Because you don't want to be like that person on the corner. You don't want to be like that person at the soup kitchen. And it's very natural, but it's also an energy outside of joy, an energy outside of hope, an energy outside of faith. Meaning that you can't be faithful that everything is going to work out in your favor, but also worry that you don't become homeless. Those energies come into conflict and they ultimately don't lead you to the place that you want to be at. Ultimately. So I'm going to bring up my share screen real quick. So for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to go through each house of the new moon. I'm going to read the blurb, and I'm also pull a couple of cards. So if the new moon happens in your first house, second house, visit AstroSeek. Well, first things first, read the article. You can check out the article, then go down to the new moon through the houses. There's going to be a link that says find which house. You can click that link, put in your birthday, and then today's date, May 16th, and figure out where the new moon is at, which would be in Taurus. And then that will let you know what house that Taurus occupies in your natal chart. And beyond reading that blurb, I'll pull a couple cards and read that for the collective. All right. Add a little. Somebody has said, Hood, read some cards as I was getting off the live. So I was like, the next video I do, I'll be sure to read cards. So each house, I will do 3 shuffles and just get into the energy. So first house, if Taurus is in your first house, or you have a new moon in the first house deals with the body, identity, and emergence. So we're trying to tap into our original spiritual soul nature. And how this shows up for you is like, like that Rude Boy song. It's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. That's the energy, all right? So the Pleiades are rising directly on your horizon. This is a profound reset of your physical presence and personal identity. You are the mountain stream, newly born, utterly yourself. Set intentions around your physical vitality, your authentic self expression, and how you show up in the world. Showing up as your true, authentic self, not who your mama wanted, not who your friends wanted, not who your last boyfriend wanted, but who you truly are. The cards that I pulled for Aries is the Death card, and I will view the Death card here as not literal physical death, but the death to the old self. The second card we have is the Knight of Water, or the King of Water. And this just represents moving to a whole different emotional state, shifting into a whole um, different place. So if during this previous cycle you was known as like the mean girl or the angry guy, you've been stressed out about this, stressed out about that, by getting rid of that old identity, that old trauma, you're able to shift your emotional life. That will give you, when they say emotions, that's energy in motion. So moving forward with this new identity, you don't want to hold on to that, old emotional baggage, right? It's like two different things that's working together. But both of these cards is talking about shifting your reality in some sort of a way. And especially with this new moon happening in your first house, this is who you are and this is who you're going to show up as. So shout out to those that have Taurus in their second house, or a new moon in their second house, right? Taurus is the natural ruler of the second house. So this means this is a doubly powerful placement. Uh, Second house rules finances. So financial anxieties are directly addressed and transcended. Google, I mean, not Google. I don't know why I said Google, but journal your financial troubles, and then also journal it in a way that you have already transcended. Not, I got $5,000 of debt, but I've paid off $5,000 of debt in this next 28 days. Something of that ilk. If you don't believe that you can do that, maybe you believe that you can pay off $100 in the next 28 days, but $100 is going to be better than nothing. But ultimately, the goal with this is not to have more money, but to manage the money that you have already and the money that's coming in. Set intentions around your relationship with money, material security, and your core values. What do you truly value? And the way to get this is to meditate, get in tune with your true self. And then after you meditate, start to journal. What do I truly value? What is worth my energy? Am I spending my energy on things that aren't worth my time? And if so, cut those karmic bonds off. Align your resources with your primal dharma, meaning that take the money that you have and focus it, on your personal duty. The tarot cards that we have, two major arcana cards, one being the Hermit, the second being the Empress. So this energy is not going to be sourced out through the crowds, right? You need to figure out how to deal with yourself. And the outcome of dealing with yourself is the Empress card, which is fecundity, or fertility, or prosperity, right? Things that we truly want, things that we truly desire, so we can have what we truly need. So the idea is to find when you in your hermit energy, it's real easy to meditate. It's real easy to be in alignment with the reception of energy, which then allows you to tap into your Empress archetype, which just means a fertility archetype that can produce at a level that feels magical. All right. So moving on, if the new moon is in your third house, your house of communication, the house of mind, the house of the local world, meaning brothers, sisters, mom, dad, things of that nature. The third house is ruled by Mercury because Mercury rules Gemini. So the new moon is conjunct Mercury. So this amplifies this house powerful ideas, writing, speaking. If you have Taurus in the first house, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you have Taurus in the third house, I'm sorry. Taurus in the third house. What this means is that everything you write, everything that you think about comes to pass. And you may do it subconsciously or unconsciously, but the goal is to begin to write intentionally, begin to work with this energy that you are speaking intentionally, that you are writing down things intentionally, not how things used to be, because we are cutting those karmic bonds and we are writing things in the now by how we want them to be in the realm of the idealism. What is the ideal? We're going to immerse ourselves in that ideal today, right now. Set intentions around clear, authentic communication. A new message is seeking expression through you. Journal, write, speak. Let the seven rays express themselves through your word. Hold on, let me go back to the third house. I didn't pull a card. So for my third house brethren and sistren, we have the four of disc and the king of fire. Okay. The four of disc is the card of power, the card of harmony, actually, the card of harmony, power, and the king of fire is the most destructive force. But this destructive force, like I said, is for the positive, is for the releasing of. So I would look at this particular energy of somebody who is writing stuff down, like you got this journal that you write in, and you're like, I hate my life. I wish, I hate my dad. My brother, he stinks. You know what I'm saying? You just write those girls at school, they hate me. Like you just writing all of these particular things. And if you're in high school, you got a journal. But if you're a grown ass man or woman, you just constantly just thinking of, all of these negative scenarios and things, excuse me, that may be true, right? It may be right and exact, but ultimately it's disrupting your manifestation. It's disrupting your vision, right? So hopefully you clear that energy up and you tap into your inherent, perfect, and pure power and not let your thoughts and mind control you, especially if it's negative, right? Because everything you think, everything you write, everything you speak, you bring it into reality. So it's very important to stay on the positive side of things. So for my fourth house brethren and sister, fourth house ruled by home, roots, and ancestral patterns. When we talk about Pleiades, this is one of the most ancient ancestral patterns known to man, right? And so understanding who you are as an ancient spiritual being who has lived lifetime after lifetimes is very important. With this particular energy, Taurus being in your fourth house, you very much are tapped in and tied into those things that are around you. Those things that are around you, you take them in as family, you are one with them. And that's all well and good if y'all all on the same page. But the issue with those particular paradigms is that you're generally not. Okay. And so, what this releasing of karmic bonds brings to you is the opportunity to set intentions around how you want things to be in the future, as far as the people around you, your living environment. Do you feel emotionally safe? What does that look like? Are you, you got people around you, but can you be yourself? Uh, and also being able to tap into your lineage. And usually for Black people, that lineage is found through our dreams and our psychic abilities. So being able to tap into those particular things, you have so many gifts, so much power, and your ancestors have you opened yourself up to that. Are you open to that, or are you just caught up in the regular status quo of getting to the bag, things of that nature? You can release inherited worry and step into your authentic home frequency. So ultimately, um, if Taurus is in your fourth house and you find yourself eating the same thing that your mom and dad used to eat, doing the same things that your friends is doing, this is the and that shit is like tearing you down. You're unhealthy, you're unhappy. This is the time to make that shift and that change to get into a particular energy that's related to your own nature. And it's not throwing away the baby with the bathwater. There are times where your ancient ancestors and all of that come into play. But then there's also a time where those things completely disrupt you into who you are as a spiritual being. The cards that we got for the fourth house is in this particular deck is called the punishment, but it's ultimately the tower and the nine of disc. So I would read these two cards. The punishment. I don't got like a book for this. Little mini book, motherfucker, come in handy sometimes. The punishment represents a sacrifice or ordeal, a punishment, pain, or a contrasting point of view. So, in this, when this card is paired with the nine of discs, to me, it shows that an individual could be looking at themselves as either small or powerless or ineffectual, but in reality, you are powerful, you are massive, and you can change reality if you understood and understood just how powerful you are. So the punishment in this particular instance is the individual who doesn't truly know who they are in this particular instance, and this makes you feel bad. This makes you feel like something ain't right. So the other card with this is the nine of discs. It represents somebody who is powerful. So if it the punishment ultimately is you not knowing who you are. The reward is ultimately coming into the full view and range of who you are as a psychic spiritual being, as how you exist, a part of the electromagnetic spectrum as a rainbow, like a beautiful light spectrum soul energetic being that's able to exit out of the body and figure things out and wake up with so much knowledge. Um, it's people online who, they exit out their body, they'll knock on your door and be like, "Hey, when you wake up, I want you to buy my moo." And then you wake up and then you like, let me go on this line and buy these girls. She was online showing a moo. Let me buy this moo. So now you buy a moo, but that girl's spirit done, you know what I'm saying? She possessed you to you didn't even know. You thought you wanted it. She wanted it, you know. And I'm talking about high level sorcery at a point of understanding who you are. So fourth house in Taurus. And the reason why I brought up the Mumu because it's a home-based business. Taurus has a lot to do with finances, but Taurus being in your fourth house, this means figuring out ways to make money from home. So the fourth house opposes the 10th house. So home and career are one of the major axes of human life. So you figuring out this part of having the home in the business, that's more time at home and less time outside of the home, which might be, you know, better for the overall home environment for your future family or the future that you or the family that you have now. If the new moon is, did I pull cards for? I think I did. If the new moon is in the fifth house is ruled by creativity, joy, and sacred play. You know, shout out to all my sex magic practitioners. You know, shout out to Keisha Cole and everybody else that wanna get down and dirty, baby. It also says to stay at home and make my house beautiful in the fourth house. Exactly. I would definitely, you know, the home is a place, is a sanctuary. This is where most people are going to access their chakras, you know. It's hard to access your chakras when you gotta, you know, keep your head on a swivel out in the world. Your home is a place where you can lay your hair down, for a lack of better word. So it's good to treat it as such, right? A sacred space where you could tap into those higher levels of consciousness. The seven sisters dance in your house of creative expression. Set intentions around creative projects, romance, children, and anything that make your soul sing. This is the Dharma through delight. What creative work feels completely irresistibly to you? This is your Pleiadian signal. Follow it without apology. So if Taurus is in your fifth house and you are like into your creative expression, great. The trouble is if Taurus is in your fifth house and you like most people that I know, you don't do shit creative. You go to work, you come home. It's hard doing a reading on people's fifth house. You'd be like, all right, so what you do creative? Man, I don't know. Shit, I go to work, I come home. You like to dance, you like to sing, you like to draw, you like to color. I think so. You know, I mean, I might like that. You know, you're not giving me shit. You know, you're not giving. You gotta look at something and say, man, I love sewing. I love making shoes. I love singing at bars at night. I love doing open houses. Why? Because when we talk about this energy, how this energy shows up is not you walking into the gym. You ain't never been to the gym, but for some reason you 280 pounds of pure muscle. And you like, oh, I decided I want to work out. No, you walk into the gym, you fat as hell, you ain't got no muscles, and you working out for 5 minutes, you out of breath, and you sweating profusely. And you thinking, I never want to do this shit again. That's what this shit look like. It don't look like you've already mastered it. Now, once again, this is a caveat. You could have the fifth house in Taurus and already settled into it. I would say these are the people who make money being a guitar player. Like you ain't never met a nigga that make money being a guitar player, right? He traveling musician, right? This is a person that make money making clothes, right? They sewing clothes and they got orders from here to February. Imagine if you love something. 10 times out of 10, you're going to be the only person that actually manifests the shit to the degree to make money. And now you got orders out the wazoo. You make prom dresses. It ain't a lot of people that make motherfucking prom dresses, but you love making prom dresses. Guess what? It's going to replenish that second house. You're going to be making way much more money making prom dresses than you is being a fucking receptionist at goddamn the fucking business downtown. That's just a job and a paycheck. And it's secure and it feels good. But fifth house in Taurus is a joy. It's a gift. You rarely hear a nigga say, hey man, come over. We're going to have, a music session. I'm going to be playing some beats. We just going to be freestyling. Or my man, he got a drum set. You play the guitar. We just going to do some, we just going to be doing jam session. That's a rare occurrence unless you decide to know how to play the drums. Guess what? Niggas going to be calling you every weekend. Hey man, you going to come down here and practice with us? We having a jam session. You was just a goddamn working as a damn plumber. Now you touring all over the world. Working at a hotel, it's actual human beings that travel all over the world all day playing a fucking instrument. It's the coolest shit you ever see. They getting off their goddamn bus. They got equipment, tall as goddamn shack, pushing it on 4 wheels. It's what they do. That's the fifth house in Taurus. I'm sorry I went on that little tangent, but sometimes you got to make this shit plain to niggas because niggas be acting like they can't do shit a lot of times. But all I do is go to work and come home, man. All I do is come to work. I just come to work and get home, man. No, what are you passionate about? What do you love? Because that's going to be something that you manifest. If whatever house Taurus is in your chart, that's your as above, so below. Okay? Just something to think about. So if Taurus is in your first house and you're trying to make money, you make more money on your aesthetic. Meaning that, because this is magic, you might not know shit about the job. It's people that know 10 times more than you. But when you came to the job, you had on you had them damn finger waves, that damn red lipstick, that goddamn dress. That nigga hiring you said, I know you don't know shit about the job, but I could teach you the job. But the most important part of this whole entire thing is that I get to see you 5 days a week. I'd rather look at you for 5 days a week than hire this nigga. And of course he know the job, but I got to look at him. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather look at you, baby girl. And you ain't mad at it because you got to pay rent on the first. You feel me? You is not mad at it. I could see if times wasn't hard, you'd be like, well, that's not very ethical. You should get somebody else in here that knows the job better. I can find another job. No, you got to pay rent. So you go and be like, well, sucks for all those other interviewees, but it looks like the job is yours, Charmaine. When can you start? When can you start? And can you keep those goddamn finger waves in? There's something about the damn finger waves. Just do something to my spirit. I don't know. You're hired, though. You're hired. If Taurus is in your sixth house, this house is ruled by Virgo, is centered in work, health, and a sacred routine, your house of service. Now, your house of service is what you do out of the love, right? It's something that you do out of love. And if Taurus is in your sixth house, that means that the things you do out of love is a way to make money. This is all of the people that didn't start a 501c3 And they've been running their 501c3 for 5 years. And somebody said, you can make money if you have a 501c3, right? You like, no, I didn't even know. I was just trying to, give homeless women that have babies diapers for their babies. Yeah, you can put that in a budget and you can get money for all the diapers and you run it so you can put in the budget your salary. So you mean I can get paid for doing my life's work? Yes, just write it in the budget. And they're gonna look over the budget. They're gonna be like 100,000 for diapers, 20,000 for transportation, and $100,000 for Charmaine for doing all of this shit. Sounds good to me. That's good to me. Hey, here go your 250, girl. Go crazy. Get them girls them damn diapers and get you a new Lexus or something. You know what I'm saying? Deliver them goddamn diapers in style, Charmaine. And next year, when you need some more funding, you know who to holler at. Keep on giving them diapers away. Because I wasn't going to give them diapers away. I just had $1 billion that I just had to give away to somebody. And here you come with this wonderful 501c3. Here you go. And she feels so blessed because she just wanted to do something good for the girls that have babies. She didn't even think that she could get money from it. So once again, is your house of service lit up right now? You have a new moon in your 6th house. How do you show up for the collective? Once again, if I'm talking to 99% of the human population right now, you don't give a shit. You don't care. You care about you. Your 6th house, you care about you. You be working about it be me. And then you come around to the conclusion, why I'm still struggling? Why I can't rub 2 nickels together? All I do is care about myself. Well, if Taurus is in your 6th house, part of your story is caring about other people. The clear mountain stream flows through your daily life and physical health. Set intentions around your body's well-being, your work rhythms, and the sacred geometry of your daily practices. Meditation and journaling and the tools of this new moon belong here, right? This is a place where you could really get into magic. Once again, everything, whatever house is in Taurus, this is what you bring down into reality. It's cool to make money doing what you love to do, especially if it's helping other people. That shit feel good as hell. Coming home at night knowing A, you help people, and B, your checking account is full. You will come to the conclusion on the other side of this, like, damn, I was being selfish low-key. That's why I was struggling. When I started thinking about other people, money couldn't stop. I was people knocking, trying to kick down my door. Like, hey, can I get one of them damn massages? You love doing massages. You love healing people. Guess what? Guess what people feel when you get them massages? They feel the love. It's people. We talk about superpowers. Some of y'all got superpowers in your hands. Right? Some of y'all got I was about to say that other superpower that y'all got, but it might be kids watching. But y'all know that shit came from the ethers too. When your daily routines align with your dharma, your health thrives. That's another thing about the 6th house. If the 6th house is in Taurus and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, your ass up in the emergency room every other month. I don't know what's wrong with me. Last year I had emphysema. Now I got bronchitis. I can't figure it out. Is you doing what you're supposed to do? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Have you meditated? No. Why don't you tell me what I'm supposed to do? Can't nobody tell you what you're supposed to do. That's why the goddamn priests in the Buddhist temples and monks is sitting there making $5,000 a month on every motherfucking goofy that come there, and all they doing is teaching these niggas how to meditate, giving them environment to where like you can't do nothing else on this mountain but meditate, my nigga. Hey, and we ain't talking for the next 30 days either. And I need 5 racks. You paying these niggas 5 racks to meditate and not say nothing. All right? Because once again, you're going to have to get to a point where the spiritual shit matters and you understand and understand what your soul is telling you. Now, when it says meditation and journaling and the tools of this new moon belong here, this is what it means. Relying on somebody to tell you something is your first mistake. Because don't nobody know more than your soul is going to know. And if they don't direct you back to your soul, they leading you into a wrong direction. So if the new moon is in your 7th house, your house of Taurus couldn't be specifically in Chiron. Chiron could be in Taurus. What you're trying to figure out is what house Taurus is in your chart. And you can have Chiron in Taurus, and that would mean that your ways of working through certain financial worries is like it's very visceral. So one level would be I worry about money and I have trouble getting it. Another level is I have faith in my finances and things work out for me. You have to come to that conclusion because the wounds will have you kind of nurturing and facilitating them finance, like your predominant thought would be centered around your finances, not in a healthy way. Like it's not like, well, I'm investing and I got all of these different properties and I feel prosperous, but it's like more I'm worried about where my next dollar coming from, or I don't have enough money. And if Chiron is in Taurus, this would be a serious person that really studies like financial systems, studies investments, Roth IRAs, things of that nature. So those wounds surrounded by finances, you come to the conclusion that if I manage my money and I grow my money, I have a very healthy relationship with it. And damn, I'm rich, and I can do the things that I want to do and I can help the people that I want to help. But before you get to that level, you more or less will constantly hit your head financially. That's how I would read Taurus, Chiron and Taurus. But you still would need to figure out what house is in to get like a clearer viewpoint on it. If your 7th house is in Taurus or Taurus is in your 7th house, however you want to view it, this is your house of partnerships, relationships, and mirrors. And as I stated, Taurus is a very as above, so below type of energy. So this is going to reflect in your relationships based upon your relationship with yourself. So if you have a strong relationship with yourself, a strong first house disposition, then you attract people that mirror that, right? But if your first house, your Aries house, well, it wouldn't be Aries. Opposed Taurus would be Scorpio. So this would be more of a like a you ever knew people that you could kind of tell they knew they had good sex? You know what I mean? Like you knew like they was working with something. man or woman, you know, like you gonna get that motherfucker in bed and they about to, you know what I'm saying, put you through some shit. Like you gonna have to be calling her like, hey, you know, I was wondering if you was gonna be free a little later. Oh, it's gonna cost us $500 next time. That's all right. I got you. I got you, baby. You need that's it. You know, I mean, I ain't never had no shit like that, but I'm sure some shit like that that exists, right? They got a high sexual energy about them. Well, that's a result of working. So Scorpio in your first house, you know what I'm saying? You probably working with something. Or you ain't did the alchemy work and you kind of feel like it's one level to have the high sexual quotient, high sexual energy, but then it's a whole nother level to have low sexual energy. So you can have low sexual energy and you kind of just feel like you unattractive, unmagnetic, and you like, oh, you like me? I can't believe you like me. I just take whatever I can get type energy. And when that happens, you find yourself with niggas for which you gotta call a Tyrone for. So I'm saying all of that to say I done skipped out on the tarot cards. I don't even know where we at. So we're gonna hop back on it for the seventh house. If I missed you and you felt like you want me to go again, just let me know in the chat or in the comments. I will personally pull a card for you. But if I don't know where I left off, I did fourth house. That would mean I would have to do fifth and sixth house. So I will do that. So after I do the seventh house. But for the seventh house cards that I'm pulling, we have the Seven of Swords and we have the Devil. The meaning, and I'll get into those cards, but let me get into the meaning of Taurus being in the seventh house. The Pleiadian light illuminates your one on one relationships. Set intentions around partnership, marriage, business alliances, and the quality of your most significant bonds. And it might be a cliche, but the best way that you set an intention with this particular energy is going to be found in your first house in Scorpio, which is confidence in who you are, right? Confidence in who you are as a spiritual being, as it's different to say, well, I don't know if anybody would want to be with me versus I know when I get into a relationship, my partner is just going to be happy. My partner is just going to be, you know, so in love with me, right? For a variety of reasons. That will put you in a much more different type of energy than feeling like you got. And it's another place where karmic bonds show up, your past relationships showing up in this relationship, your relationship with your parents showing up in this relationship, releasing those ties, figuring out who you are energetically, and making a commitment to show up as that spiritual person is going to up the quality of your relationship. Uranus here suggests liberation from codependent patterns. What does an equal, authentic partnership look like for you? The seven rays seek harmony between self and the others. So ultimately, you can't be looking for what you want from another person for something that you can't find within yourself. In reference to the cards associated with the seventh house, we have appropriately the Seven of Swords and the Devil. Now, the Seven of Swords is basically futility or going along something in a certain way where it's basically a lie. It's futile. It's a waste of time. And the devil in this particular situation is an archetype that an individual would embody when they're going against the grain. Like everybody is saying, you need to be in this relationship, or everybody is saying, you just need to be single. But your soul is saying, I need to be in a relationship, or I need to be single, however that looks for you, or I just need to be single for a while, or I just feel like I need to be in this relationship. But your friend group is saying, girl, we all single here. We don't need these niggas. And you like, I actually want one and need one. Like my soul is crying out for a man and I don't want to be like you hoes, right? Or it could be on the flip side where you marry and everybody in your family is Christian fundamentalists and they was like, well, you got married in the church, you got married before the Lord, and I don't care if your husband gay, right? You got to stay in this relationship because God was all there. We all seen y'all get married, and you like, this nigga make me want to throw up. How am I stay in a marriage and I'm looking at a nigga and I get nauseated? Well, that would mean that you in a futile situation, and this will require you to become the devil. And the devil is the person that's filing the divorce, or the devil is the person that's saying, "Where the niggas at? I'm trying to get married." And your friends like, "No, we just having a girls trip. We were supposed to scissor later." And you like, "Girl, I'm tired of scissoring. We scissor every girls trip. That's all we do is scissor." No pun intended. Shout out to the Kritaka and the Shaktra. But before we go forward, let's go backwards to the fifth house. We're going to pull a card for the fifth house in the sixth house, and then we're going to go to the eighth house. Be sure to like the video if you like it. Share the video if you feel like somebody may need this video. And subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. So for the fifth house, we got the Six of Cups and we got the Mirror or Fortune. So the Six of Cups is the card of pleasure, which is appropriate for the fifth house because the fifth house is the house of pleasure. So this is to my divine feminine energies that it's an interesting dynamic, right? If you can begin to understand that people want to see you happy, people want to see you in the spirit of joy. And we're not talking about like people in the corners, we're talking about ancestors, spirit guides, things of that nature. Whereas you could be completely seduced and tricked into living a life devoid or empty of pleasure, right? But this pleasure that you are to explore and find comes within you. It could be from the root level pleasure, the pleasure of orgasms, or the pleasure of playing a guitar and you just code on the Spanish guitar and you freestyle and you just coming up with different melodies and you just find yourself playing that guitar for 2 hours and it just feels good. Just you're just doing that shit. Go ahead and put a camera on. Go live on TikTok. I bet you know what I'm saying, niggas start sending you stars and cowboy hats and shit. Go perform on the stage that Spanish guitar. You know what I'm saying? Start looking good, smelling good, feeling good. Go on that stage, play that goddamn Spanish guitar because you feel good doing it. It's going to make other people feel good. And when you make people feel good, they be like, take my money. Take it. Just take it. I don't need it. I was going to pay my rent, but fuck it. I just want to give it to you. And you might say, because you're a good spirit, you don't got to not pay your rent. Just give me $5. I'll take $5. You could pay the rest of your rent, right? What do you think? I don't mean to go here, but I'm going to go there. What y'all think OnlyFans is? Imagine a woman or a man, I'm just saying, some of y'all husbands is subscribed to male OnlyFans creators, but that's probably a whole different video, and I'm going to just leave it there. But what is being monetized, guys? How are people making money besides the act of being pleasured or pleasure within oneself? And I imagine, this is just from my imagination, a girl who is faking being the most pleasured by whatever is going on, she probably making the most money. And the girl who looking like, I don't want to be here. Don't be looking at me. I ain't trying to. This is against my morals. Girl got $2 on her OnlyFans this month. Ain't nobody trying to see that shit. Niggas want to see somebody happy. And so all I'm saying is pleasure is the mirror. Okay? What feels good to you? Good, I don't even know what feel good. I just been working and coming home for so long. Well, that's, for a lack of better words, a personal problem. Well, how do I figure it out? You gotta meditate and you gotta follow the prompts. Well, I follow the prompts and I did want to start sewing clothes, but then when I got the sewing machine, I didn't know how to work it. Well, no shit, Sherlock. You're not going to know how to work it. But a year from now, if you go on YouTube and start looking up sewing videos and follow point from point to point to point, your ass will know how to sew. Okay? I guarantee you will know how to sew. Do it. Will it feel good 6 months in? And you sewing together a fucking jacket from scratch? I bet you it feels good when you're making little polo shirts. It's gonna feel good making that shirt, and guess what else is gonna feel good? When somebody watching it see it and like, oh, you sold this yourself? Here, take my money. I don't want this money in my pocket. I had it in my pocket and I was gonna pay my rent, but I don't want it no more. I want you to have it. I can't even fit the shirt, but you sold that motherfucker from scratch. That's some impressive ass shit. I believe in you. That's all I'm gonna say. And I don't want you. I don't want you to give up on yourself if the fifth house is in Taurus. All right. Hopefully, this is making sense for those that it needs to make sense to. Now we're pulling cards for the sixth house, Taurus in the sixth house, new moon in the sixth house. So the cards that we have for the sixth house are the Eight of Cups and the Chariot. The Eight of Cups speak to laziness, and the Chariot speaks to going from point A to point B energetically. So, in reference to the sixth house, this is your active service that is the ultimate as above, so below that you don't really get into because you don't feel like you want to do it. I don't feel like doing that. I do have a passion for homeless children, but today I'm just tired, hood. I'm tired, you know. They ass gonna be homeless tomorrow, hood. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying? I know I got a mission and I'm supposed to help these kids, but shit, a girl just tired. You know, I'm just, working. I gotta work, gotta pay these bills. So with that being said, I'm gonna just tomorrow, I'm gonna fill out that paperwork for that 501c3. First thing in the morning, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna do it. Tomorrow come, damn hood, I forgot I had to go to my damn doctor's appointment today. First thing in the morning. Shit, why didn't I remember about that appointment? And so forth and so on. It'll be reason after reason after reason. But the associating card with this energy is the Chariot. So the Chariot is going to help you get to where you need to get to, but not in the case of you being lazy. Not in the case of you being scared. Okay? Now, opposite of that is being initiative, going against the grain, and that begins to be like, you ever watch an eagle? When the eagle is face to face with a particular current, it's not flapping its wings to go around the sky. It's just floating through the air because it's a part of a current, and that's the chariot. It might take a little effort at first, but ultimately the energy of this initiation working through this new moon is going to be the wind beneath your wings. So, moving on to the eighth house, Scor- the house of Scorpio, being aligned to the house of Taurus. So Taurus in the eighth house, new moon takes place in the eighth house, your house of alchemy, transformation, depth, and shared resources. Uh, Another way of looking at that is other people's money, loans, leverages, things of that nature. The deepest of all waters, this new moon eliminates hidden dimensions of power, intimacy, debt, shared finances, and psychic inheritance. Set intentions around deep transformation and release. What karmic ties or karmic knots are ready to be cut? The scissors of conscious awareness are in your hands. So when we talk about alchemy, we're talking about a particular energy that is basically able to like flip, dip, and flip the switch, and things change instantly. The energy that rules the eighth house is that of the occult, that of magic, and utilizing said uh, karmic waves or energetic waves and the seven rays, becoming a magnetic being, a lot of times is bringing about an experience that is everything that you want and everything that you desire at a level that most people wouldn't be able to understand. When you have mastered your eighth house, when you have mastered the alchemy within yourself, when you have took that negative energy and transmuted it into positive energy, then vicariously, almost naturally, you live a life that is prosperous. We talked about it earlier, the eighth house being ruled by Scorpio. Scorpio is opposed Taurus. So these energies operate in wholeness. When you operate within the eighth house and you master the eighth house, you understand your occult technology and work through said occult technology, then this is what you will call a man of leisure, one who is able to travel and to like live off of percentages, you know, interest, or figuring out a way, stocks, things of that nature. You just know things and getting things across to, whereas now you got the money. Your Taurus is, you got the resources. Or if you don't got them, your partner got them, or your somebody got them. You marry into wealth. It makes it so much easier for you. And earlier to this particular energy, you might have had to, do something strange for a piece of change. You know what I'm saying? Things was rough for you. But now things are coming into alignment, especially my divine feminine. Like it's only as hard as you gonna make it. It's a way to tap into this eighth house, sometimes the women be like, take care of your hair because you want to look like you ain't been through nothing or something to that effect. Like, y'all know what I'm talking about. They generally tell why women should take care of their hair and things of that nature. What this talking about is the energy of alchemy. You could have went through hell and came back. Your ass done took a shower, put your hair in a fucking ponytail, and now everybody looking at you all mesmerized and shit. Like, man, who is that? And you telling these niggas like, I just went to hell and back, and he's like, how was hell? How was the devil? Oh, sure is beautiful though. You know what I'm saying? That's alchemy. Like, you don't have to look like what you've been through. You could take this particular consciousness associated with this new moon, associated with Pleiades, and utilize it as a way to say, I understand I went through a lot, but I also understand that this is what I want for myself looking forward. And your ability to master the ray of ritualism or harmonize ritualism with power, you can get anything that you want. Remember, Taurus house is your as above, so below house. So your means of doing magic and rituals is also your means of creating the life that you want to live. And also the outside of that is you just, struggling. Even though you working hard, even though you showing up every day, is not making sense to you. Like you just getting by, but you're not succeeding. I almost forgot, but I remember pulling a tarot card for the eighth house. So we got the Prince of Waters with the Seven of Discs. The Seven of Discs is the card of failure, and the Prince of Water is that of, it conjures up the Bible verse footprints, where it's this guy, he's walking along the beach, and when he looks back, he sees two sets of footprints because he's walking with God. And then he's walking, and then at a certain point he looks back and he's like asking God, like, why is it only one set of footprint? And God tells the guy, well, that was when I had to carry you. So ultimately, eighth house in Taurus is like a very strong spiritual relationship, or it should be. It should be a relationship to the spiritual. Whereas you think on one level that you're doing everything on your own, but working with this particular harmonization of the eighth house, you know for a fact that you are doing everything in unison with the divine. And the seven of discs is saying when you don't incorporate the divine, it feels like and it looks like failure. So next we're talking about the ninth house in Taurus, or a new moon taking place in the ninth house. The ninth house rules philosophy, the higher mind, and expansion, ruled by Sagittarius and Jupiter. The seven rays transmit through your house of higher learning, travel, spirituality, and cosmic law. This new moon invites you to set intentions around your worldview, your spiritual path, and your relationship to the truth. You are meant to teach, travel, and explore a new philosophical terrain. Now, this particular energy, you're showing up like a scrawny kid first day at the gym, but 6 months from now, a year from now, you want to be looking like an Olympian bodybuilder, right? So, in order to get there, and I'm using that as an analogy to say, you may not have never left your damn city, but if you got ninth house in Taurus, this is the type of energy that says wherever you go, there you are. Now, I've never traveled nowhere, hood. I ain't never left the city. I ain't never done, like, I haven't even left my block. But you said 9,000 is my Taurus. How do I access this energy in my life? Well, once again, you have to begin to meditate. You have to begin to receive the cosmic rays of the seven sisters and allow them to imbue you with cosmic wisdom. And the way for you to sustain it and maintain it is through the act of harmonization. Learning how to harmonize the in and the out, the good and the bad, the up and the down, right? Utilizing all of these particular energies. When you do that, you could all but guarantee that in the next 6 months or so, maybe sooner, your ass is going to be a jet setter. And after you jet set for so long, people will say, well, subconsciously, unconsciously, what have you learned in your travels? And then you set them down in a circle, and lo and behold, you are now a teacher. That's how it works. The cards associated with the ninth house in Taurus, or a new moon in Taurus in the ninth house, is going to be the Queen of Wands and the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords represents interference, and the Queen of Wands is the energy of Pambajira. So the energy of Pambajira would be that of the divine feminine, and the interference is that of that. Like, you're being interfered of your divine feminine energy, and that divine feminine energy is the lack of intuition, right? We all have heard of female intuition, but that's just one level of it. You can be intuitive about something, but you might not have the logic or the effort associated with the intuition, right? You could be intuitive to say, this is the man for me, but when you get into the relationship with the man, you don't put forth, you don't put forth any effort. You can be intuitive that this is the job for you, you get the job, but you don't put effort in the job. And when you don't put effort in the job, they fire you. It was the dream job, and that was right and exact. You was intuitive about it, but once again, it's just one side of the game. So in reference to this particular 9,000 Taurus, you might be a hard worker. You might be the person that you need to be, but you are missing out on the particular intuition on what you should be doing. This is a call for ritual. This is a call for meditation. And what you are asking for is the answers in a space where you don't have the answers, and you know how to get the answers. You get the answers from the seven sisters. You get the answers from the electromagnetic spectrum that sends you the answers through your chakras, and your chakras alchemize them, and it comes to the great idea or the bright idea. And once you get the bright idea, you take everything that you are into that idea and bring about manifestation, i.e. Taurus. So a new moon in the 10th house, or Taurus in your 10th house, means that this is your house of career, purpose, and public role. The Pleiades crown your life's work. A spotlight falls on your dharmic purpose in the world. This is a time to set intentions around your career, public reputation, and the contribution that only you can make. With Uranus involved, sudden breakthroughs in how you are seen and how you see yourself professionally are possible. Act from authenticity and not from the fear of being seen. So the 10th house is all about career, what you do for living, what you do for work. This is a perfect place to imbue the energy of the seven sisters because, we all trying to go viral. We all trying to make some money and things of that nature. And it's a very key point, right? If you know what you're supposed to do, you understand your career, you're good at your career, and you want more notoriety, you want more visibility, this is the time to do the work and ask for that and seek that because this is the point that you can break through. You've been making music for years now and you're good at it, people love it, but you haven't met the right manager. You haven't found the right audience yet, right? This is the time to imbue the magic that you need for the success for Taurus to be in your 10th house, right? Because the thing about Taurus being in your 10th house or just the 10th house in general, whenever you're proficient at something, the thing that generally knocks everybody down is that, I'm a good astrologer, but damn, it's some excellent astrologers out here. There's millions of astrologers. Niggas got graphics and shit. So at one level, I'm intimidated, but at another level, I'm like, shit, that's how I'm gonna come. I'm gonna just use that idea. I'm gonna just, and then it gets to a certain level where I might hear another astrologer. I'm like, well, I could do better, right? So once again, it comes and goes in waves, but ultimately, when you represent your 10th house, you gotta actively look for some form of magic because it's not to say that there's too much competition because it's not about competition, but there are billions of people in the world. So in order for you to be seen, in order for anybody to be seen, you need light. So these is going to be the hardest people to convince to meditate because you got all the money, you got all the success. Why the hell should you meditate? But you ain't as hot as you used to be. And all these young people coming in, they trying to take your fire. So you might need to redirect your energy in a certain type of way that shows up for you. That's like, okay, y'all ain't fucking with me. I know y'all the hot shot and y'all got all the talent and all this ability, but I'm still him or I'm still her. And a person might look at you like, where'd you get this invigorated spirit from? Where'd you come to show? How'd you show up like this so strongly? And you can tell them, or I could tell them, I started to meditate and work with my chakras and receptive to the seven sisters, and the seven sisters helped me like they helped Jesus. Before I go to the 11th house, I'm going to pull a card real quick. And for the 10th house, ironically or unironically, we have the 10 of disc and we also have the world. So the 10 of disc represents wealth. Wealth is the seed and the germination and the overall fruitfulness of that one little seed. So the 10 of this is the 1 and the 10. It is the knowing and the execution and the realization of all that you are. In this particular moment, a new moon represents a seed. You never walked up to a seed and said, all right, I know you're going to be a tomato, so I'm going to just eat you now and get all the nutrients from it. I don't need it to grow. And why you ain't already a full-grown tomato already? I need you to be a tomato today. Doesn't work like that. You see the seed, you know it's a tomato seed, you know it's going to be a tomato seed. All you have to do is do the work and not the literal painstaking work, the preventative work to make sure that it doesn't get ruined. And this is what we're talking about in realms of the manifestations for you. You don't have to do anything, so to speak. You just have to make sure that the rabbits don't get it. You gotta prevent it from failing. And so for the individual, this means don't be drinking every night, or don't be getting high, or don't be fucking with, weird ass people that's going to derail your dreams. Only deal with people that's on the same page you are. You trying to reach the highest levels of success and you feel like the highest levels of success is going to satisfy you. You're not going to be like, well, the people around me, they didn't want to be successful and I found solace in being around them. No, you're going to drive yourself crazy. The world is yours. You have it all in your hands. It can all be yours, but you have to, one, see it for yourself, and two, little Kim, play defense. Niggas is coming for your crown. They can see the light. You the only nigga with light. You think you ain't? If it's a world of darkness, guess who stick out like a sore thumb? The individuals that generate and gain light. Okay? So with that being said, when you walking through the event and you hitting them with the little Kim, they're like, what you doing? I'm playing defense. So I'm not about to steal my crown or my glory this time because I know what's at stake. So to all my brethren and sisters who has Taurus in the 11th house, this is the house of community, the house of vision, the house of a collective future. And one of the aspects of this particular placement is that, once again, it's as above, so below. So your dreams and desires is found in your ability to not isolate yourself, to unify, to build a community, to be a part of a community. What does that look like for you? When you have energies in the 11th house, this represents your leadership energies, the energies where you are a trailblazer, where you set the tone. The seven sisters sing to your vision of the future and your place within a collective humanity. Set intentions around community, friendship, group purpose, and the causes that call your heart. Uranus, the natural ruler of this house, supercharges this placement. You may find or create your soul tribe through the energy of this new moon. So if you are an isolated individual but feel like this don't feel good to you, then this is the time to set the intentions for that particular community. Now, once again, you're not walking into the gym 250 pure muscle. Like, I already got a community, but I'm gonna set my intentions for another community. No, 10 times out of 10, you don't got no community. You only got a desire. You just have a want. You only have an intention for it. Nobody is going to set an intention on some energy that they already got. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm saying all of this to say that one has to be okay with not having it and know that they're going to get it. And that is what we call faith. And faith is not an energetic, I'm really afraid that I might not have it, but I just hope that I get it. That energy of feeling that you might not getting it is going to override the faith every single time. You might as well not even want it because it's always going to be a sabotage type of energy somewhere, somehow. So in order to get over that saboteur is to just admit what you don't got, right? Admit that, man, I'm a long ways away from my physique that I want. Give me 1 second, tribe. What I'm doing right now is pulling a card for the 11th house. And for the 11th house, we have the Six of Swords, and we also have the Knight of Disc. So the Six of Swords is the card of science. Actually, the Six of Swords is the card of the second deacon of Aquarius, meaning it's an Aquarian card. And so how I would interpret this card in reference to the astrology is that there is something that you can begin to learn, or you can either learn this knowledge or you already have this knowledge that you can begin to teach. And either once you learn this knowledge or once you begin to teach this knowledge, that will begin to be the seed of your community, the seed of your soul group. The soul group is tied into some form of knowledge, either known or you will learn. Secondly, the Knight of Earth is the vehicle that you will begin to utilize to move through this particular matrix at the level that you wish to move through it. So this vehicle is tied into your community, it's tied into knowledge. 11th house connected to Taurus is your resources. So almost naturally that community would be that form of financial support that allow you to do the things that you want to have. So it's like a line. Gain the knowledge or disseminate the knowledge. Gain, disseminate, make some money, basically. But don't be in the 11th house of Taurus, have the knowledge and want to keep it to yourself because that will keep you, you know, in that box with everybody else. Finally, we have the 12th house. The 12th house ruled by Pisces and to a certain degree Neptune. 12th house in Taurus. Taurus is the house of the invisible, the house of surrender, and the ultimate soul house. If Taurus is in your 12th house, that would mean that you get to it a different way. You ain't doing it the regular mundane way. You're doing it much more of a spiritual soul type of way that most people can't even get to. It might look on the outside that you invest real estate, but that's what you just tell people. But seriously, you be moving them bricks. But you can't tell people you move them bricks, so you just wash the money into real estate investment. And I feel you, man. That's what you're supposed to do. You ain't supposed to tell people you got them bricks. You're supposed to wash that money and, keep the thing going. But this is the most mystical placement. The Pleiades shine in your house of the unconscious, of solitude, and of the soul's invisible life. Set intentions in silence and meditation rather than outer action. You are being prepared from within, and the quote unquote inactivity that you may be experiencing externally is not failure, it is incubation, hibernation, or the cocoon phase. Trust the unseen stream finding its way through this dark and ancient mountain. So you've been here many lifetimes, very conscious, and you may feel like you done seen it all, been through it all, but ultimately there is still something new to be discovered in this life. But are you open? to discovering it? Are you open to experiencing it? And if you are open to it, then the journey is just now beginning. And this is the most auspicious placement because you have the freedom of the soul. We all don't have no limits, but there is also the final boss, right? There is the one who is here for pure enjoyment. So if Taurus is in your 12th house, this is a real part in your life to exude, to embody that soul's identity that is completely overshadowing the mundane. Another way to understand and overstand this, you have no way to be prepared what is coming down the pipeline, but the best thing that one could do is simply align to who you truly are. The cards that we have for the 12th house is the card of justice and the eight of discs. The overall outcome of things is going to be related to your work, but not your mundane work, your spiritual work. And your spiritual work is going to happen every day. Every day, you're going to be called to do different things that when you begin to act in a certain type of way, if y'all would see the symbolism on this particular card, I'll show it real quick. So the card that I'm talking about is the Eight of Discs in the erotic tarot, and she's playing a flute, and that snake charmer flute is attracting the snake. She's able to play a song and bring the snake, and so this begins to be an analogy for what you're trying to manifest, what you're trying to bring in your life as a way of the things that you say, the things that you do, the way that you approach life. And if the 12th house is in Taurus, the way that you want life to be is completely on your terms. So get clear on those terms through your meditation, get clear on those terms through your journaling, get clear on those terms through your intention so you can live in the life that you want to live, not a life concerned with your karmic past, with things that have happened, things that you have gone through. No, you're not going to be able to get rid of it, but you are able to set on a new path, paving a new particular road. So for all of us that are going through a new moon, my new moon practice today or for the next 2 days, create a sacred space. These are 7 steps, of course, got to keep everything in the realms of seven. Create a sacred space. Meditate first, do some journaling, journal from the soul, not from fear, not from desires, not from wants, but journal from your meditation. Set no more than 7 intentions. Try to get 7 things that you hope to work on over these next 28 days. Address the house where Taurus falls. Look at this article, figure out what house it is, figure what house it like. So it's like the house of community, the house of partnership, whatever house it is. Start think about how you want to show up in that particular house in your own personal life. And if you're able to do that, you're able to do astrology and alchemy at the same time. Very important with this new moon being in Taurus, is important to release those financial anxieties. If you have been struggling over this past month financially, this month, this time moving forward, things are going to get a lot easier. But once again, I can give it to you, but what you gonna do with it? I can give it to you, but what? invest in systems, invest in things that's going to get you more money. Don't get more money and waste it. Save 10% at least of every dollar you get for a quote unquote rainy day, or a travel fund if the Taurus is in your ninth house, things of that nature. Stay clear of the dark of the moon for the first 3 days. Minimize noise and stimulation rather. You are seeding. Seeds germinate in darkness and quiet and in trust. Do not get caught up in the noise. Do not get caught up in the distractions. Get caught up in the soul, in the rays permeating the earth. Gain that ancient wisdom so you can move forward in the future, unwavering, unswerving, no limits. Shout out to Master P. With all that being said, this has been an esoteric exploration in the new moon in Taurus. Shout out to the seven sisters. I say to y'all, I say to all the goddesses, the divine feminine, everybody that watches the channel, supports the channel. I say to you, your family, your friends, I hope you were able to pull something out of this. I hope you were able to look up the new moon, what house is happening in your chart, figure out what house is happening, and get some type of clarity with all that's going on. I know it's a lot going on. So the best thing that I could do is keep the conversation focused on you. I told y'all I'm a poet and I didn't even know it, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Thank y'all for joining me for this exciting episode of This Week in Astrology. We got another new moon out the way, man. Much love from my family to y'all's. Make sure y'all comment on this video. Make sure y'all share this video. Make sure you like the video. The Cash App is $Hood Mystic 38. White Rabbit Psychedelics. Join the email newsletter. Get saved 30% off your order all May. The sale ends in May. I promise you, it ends. Everything is going back to regular prices. So if you're trying to save and lock in these deals, make sure you shop this month and this month only. All right. And with all that being said, this has been another video from yours truly. Stay in tune as we begin to study more and more and more. I'm going to do understanding astrology, working on that video, going to deal with the aspects. And then we're going to go through the sun, through the houses, through the aspects, completely audacious and challenging project. But that's what we're here for, to enlighten the collective to the best of our ability, man. I'm your host for today, the Hood Mystic, aka Kyrie Anthony. Go check out my books on Amazon. Check out my links in the description. Make sure you join the damn Substack, y'all. Read the article if you missed the video, catching the live. Want to tap into the energy, you can read this whole article in under 33 minutes, rather, and figure out what sign this new moon is taking place and personalize the information so you can get fully aligned on this particular energy, man. I do all of this for you with the hopes that you are able to gain some enlightenment through it all. Once again, I know it's tough and I know it's rough, but I truly believe in the power of your soul, my soul. But I also understand that if we don't do the work does not get done, okay? So peace to y'all, peace to the tribe. I will catch y'all all on the flip side. Peace.